Hello everybody, and welcome back to Odin's Movie Blog. I am the critic who is a cynic, and today, oh boy, we've got ourselves another wonderful article all about trolls. So this is from Wired.com, and the article is The Key to Triumphing Over Star Wars Trolls. Okay, well I think all of us can tell where this story is going to be going pretty quickly. So let's jump right into it and try and just totally destroy it. So, former Mythbusters host Carrie Byron says that her young daughter was enthralled by the character Rey in Star Wars The Force Awakens. Okay, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If you like that character, that's your opinion. You're entitled to it. Just like there are many who say that, she was okay, and there are some that say that she was total garbage. I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm that person who thinks that the character is not the worst character I've ever seen, but also she's not very strong either because she is a Mary Sue. I'm sorry, she is just a person who is good at the Force for the sake of being good at the Force. There's no explanation as to why. She has no training. There's just no real good explanation as to why she's able to be so great at the Force, why being Force sensitive is just something that she has to be extremely good at. Again, there's just no real logical explanation for it. I mean, we have so many other examples in Star Wars history where people have had to train, have had to get to know the Force and their powers over time. And you have to take training. With her, though, no, she's just automatically good at it. And that's why a lot of people are critical of the character. But again, if you like her character, absolutely nothing wrong with that. Now, here's, again, where we get into some fun quotes. So, she was just done with princesses when she saw Rey, Byron said in episode 1313, because it was like, okay, this is a smart badass, and I could see that it is so much more interesting than a helpless princess locked in a tower. Okay, well, again, you're entitled to your opinion. There's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, I think that this woman is reading much more into her daughter's opinion than her daughter is actually portraying, because I highly doubt that her daughter said all of this stuff. This just comes across, again, could it be? Absolutely. Obviously, I don't know her. I don't know anything that was actually said, but again, when it comes to young children, when it comes to what they say, it's just not normal for a child to say, oh, I like her because she's a smart badass and I'm just done with princesses and towers. Again, that doesn't really happen. So just because your daughter likes Rey doesn't mean that, again, I think she's reading too much into it, but anyway, that's just me. But Byron is well aware that not everyone loves female heroes. Oh boy, here we go. A point underscored last week when Kelly Marie Tran, who played stalwart mechanic Rose Tico in The Last Jedi, deleted her Instagram account, presumably after receiving months of verbal abuse. Yes, presumably. Right there, you, again, at least you're being honest about it, but you are going to continue this article trying to say, oh, people did abuse her. People did attack her. Well, first off, let's break this down. Jeremy made a really good point. Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers made a really good point about this earlier, where he says that everyone who is online, everyone who has a public face, everyone who does anything online is going to be attacked. Even me, who has just barely over 300 subscribers on YouTube, barely over 120 followers on Twitter, again, very small as far as compared to other mainstream accounts and other people who are in the public eye, very, very small. Even I've gotten personally attacked in some of my videos. Even I've got personally attacked on Twitter by people, and you know what? It happens. Again, I don't like it. I'm not defending it, but it happens. And so when you put yourself on Twitter, especially or any social media account, if you are a big name, if you're someone who is attached to a big project, you should be ready for that kind of reaction. Again, I'm not supporting it. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but you should at least be ready for it. Again, no one in this world is totally immune to being attacked on social media. It's a sad, it's a sad state of humanity in general. I mean, I can go into an entire discussion on human nature, but that's for another video, and that's also for my theology classroom. But again, when we look at these accounts, when we look at these things, we need to understand them in the proper context. So again, presumably this happened. There is no hardcore proof that that is the reason why she actually left Instagram. In fact, someone was able to uncover that you can easily just temporarily delete your account, and when you do so, all of your Instagram stuff gets taken off. So it looks like you've just scrubbed everything completely, but you can just have it be temporarily disabled. So again, we don't know. Kelly Marie Tran has not spoken publicly on this, so this is all just assumption. And yet it's not going to stop people like the people at Wired or any other organization who's just going to jump on the story and try to assume that this is true, and just to try to create their own false narrative of what actually happened. All right, so continuing on. It's a strange world. You can't handle your characters in movies to be girls and kick ass, Byron says. That is just crazy. That is not the reason why people are critical of Rose Tico. Her being a female has nothing to do with it. For the vast majority of people who are critical of Rose Tico, not Kelly Marie Tran, Again, not the person, but the character. The people who are critical of Rose Tico, it's not because she's a female, it's because she is a weak character. Just like Rey, it's because she is a weak character. Now again, that's an opinion. There are people who think that she's a strong character. I've actually had people say that, and you are entitled to that opinion. However, most people, again, when it comes to most people in the world, what we end up seeing is that we ourselves, we are just tired of bad characters in Star Wars and in any film franchise as well. And I think that's something that, again, these people just totally ignore, and they just want to try and paint this false narrative as to what's going on. So no, it's not because we can't handle female characters. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, you can just look to countless numbers of strong female characters. Ripley from Alien is the one that comes to mind. She is a freaking badass, and she is awesome. And it has nothing to do with that she's a woman. It's that she's a good character. So again, we need to have that proper context. All right. She says that the level of vitriol directed at Star Wars, at stars like Tran, is far worse than anything she had to contend with in her early days. If I came into this industry right now, just fresh into the internet, I think it would crush my spirits because it can be so vicious, she says. But I started slow with just some Craigslist-y kind of message boards, and I got to build my way up to being able to ignore awful people. But again, it really has not changed. Other than more people having access to the internet, it really hasn't changed. Again, there's been crappy people online since the internet was invented, since the internet was created. I mean, oh my goodness, it bothers me so much. Again, just please stay in reality. Don't try and just create false narratives when they're not there to be had. All right, she often advises young women on dealing with trolls, and her advice remains consistent. Don't pay attention and don't engage. Okay, that's not just for women, that's for anyone, because every single person, no matter what race, no matter what gender, gets trolled, gets attacked online on a daily basis. Again, this is not something that is strictly for women. This is not something that's strictly for ethnic minorities. Again, this is not something that is exclusive to those groups. Every single person gets attacked. And I'm not defending it. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but we do need to have that proper context. We cannot allow people to try and spin the narrative to say, oh, this only happens or it's a lot harder for these. No, every single person gets attacked. Again, it's the sad state that we live in today's world. All right, I'm not going to listen to that interview because there's just really no point on it. And then Carrie Byron goes on to talk about Mythbusters and all these other things and blah de blah de blah on science fiction, on superhero costumes. Oh, let's see what she says. I really get annoyed when I see superheroes in high heels. It just seems so ridiculous and impractical. Okay, I agree with that. Like the old Wonder Woman when she'd wear her high-heeled go-go boots. I'm like, yeah, that looks great, but really, they are so hard to run in. Why would you ever do that? I'm happy to see that Black Widow had flats on when she was running in one scene. I was just like, that's what you're supposed to wear. You're supposed to wear flats. Boots are great because the leather will protect you. That's awesome. Maybe some steel toes, but don't run in high heels. It's going to slow you down. Unless a knife's going to come out of that thing, what's the point? Oh, and then she talks about religion. Okay, I'm not even going to get into that. But anyway, so have you read this article? What are your thoughts here? Again, this is supposed to be the key to triumphing over Star Wars trolls, and it only seems to be interested in talking about people who are women who are being attacked because apparently they're the only ones getting attacked, is what seems to be the assumption on this article. Or if you're either a female or you're a ethnic minority, you're the only ones that get attacked. You're the only ones that get attacked. You're the only ones that can really be reached out to in this way, and it's something that you have to be able to understand, and you have to admit that this is just the way. Again, people get attacked. Every single person who's on the internet will at some point likely be attacked on social media. I'm not defending it. It's terrible, and some people can definitely be attacked worse than others. I mean, just look to the poor child actor from Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. I mean, just everything that happened with him, everything that happened to his life was just destroyed because of people, not just on the internet, but just people in general attacking him as a person. And it really just messed up his life forever. That is an example. And guess what? He's a white male. He is a white male. So if you're going to talk about examples of real, actual trolling ruining someone's life, look to that example. Don't look to these modern examples that people are trying to point out, Kelly Marie Tran, when we don't even know if that's the reason why she left social media in the first place. And also, we forget and we ignore the fact that she's not the only one that's being attacked. People are being attacked again on a daily basis, including Star Wars fans who are just being critical of The Last Jedi, including Star Wars fans who are being critical of Kathleen Kennedy. We're called sexist because we don't like Kathleen Kennedy. No, it's because she is a terrible producer. She is a terrible president. She greenlit a project that lost hundreds of millions of dollars. Again, we are coming from a place of logic for the most part. Again, are there that small minority of people out there who are doing terrible things for the sake of doing terrible things? Absolutely. We're not ignoring that. We're not denying that. But please, please, people at Wired, stay in the real world. Stay based in reality, because that's the only place that you're going to be able to survive. Because, again, we have seen so many people now starting to speak up about this, starting to just point all this stuff out, and especially on in this age where your articles can be talked about and can be scrutinized, you want to be careful, because you could possibly have an effect on your viewership, etc., because of you putting out garbage like this. But anyway, guys, so did you read this article? What are your thoughts on it? Please let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. It helps me out. And also give me a subscribe as well if you haven't done so already. And also please share this video as well, because it does really help me as well. And it also just is, I really would greatly appreciate it. So thank you very much, guys, for listening. Have a great day. And as always, God bless.